Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of ScreenFlow Live. My name's Andrew Haley, your host, and we do this show occasionally every 2 weeks to share with you the latest tips, tricks, or to interview people that are using ScreenFlow in interesting ways out there and to share their knowledge with you. We try to bring on subject or content matter experts, people that are out there walking the walk and doing things that we ourselves are either aspiring to do or interested in learning more about. So to that end, today we want to learn a little bit more about how to optimize your Facebook funnel or to how to market better on Facebook. Particularly to those of you who are using ScreenFlow, you know that it's a great video and video editing tool, it's a great publishing tool, but it's not necessarily the whole piece of the puzzle. You usually need to take that content that you're making or creating in products like ScreenFlow and then distribute it to other people or get it online or use it as part of your business or your marketing efforts. And I think more and more people these days are finding that the big two powers in online marketing are Facebook and Google. And so if you know how to use those or navigate those waters effectively, it can really make a huge difference in the way that your business works. So we find that this is a particularly interesting topic to our ScreenFlow users and ScreenFlow customers, and it's something that we ourselves are always eager to learn more about. So we wanted to invite one of the experts, and today joining us live on Skype from Lakeland, Michigan, if I got that right, might be wrong on that, is Karen Pattock. Karen, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, welcome, Karen. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Did I get that right? It's Lakeland?
Lakeland's close. I'm actually in Brighton.
Brighton, Michigan. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. So, so Brighton, Michigan. And Karen, you describe yourself as not only a business coach, but also an online marketing educator. You particularly specialize with female entrepreneurs, which I think is amazing because that is an area that I think historically, or a group that's historically a little underrepresented. And so can you talk a little bit about your efforts and what you do and maybe as that relates to women entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so one of my main goals in my business coaching and just even with my free content is to empower women entrepreneurs because it inevitably, as I spend more and more time out there speaking to women entrepreneurs, it comes across to me that so many of them are fearful or not confident in their abilities to sell their programs, market their services, really take ownership and fill that space that they say that they're an expert in. And it really, for me, has become just a personal passion of mine to give them the strength, be their support system, hold the space for them where I can see the big picture for them and maybe they can't, and help them take the necessary steps to build that business that really they're dreaming of, that really makes a difference in their families' lives.
And you yourself have had to walk this path on your own. How long have you sort of been doing this or been an entrepreneur on your own, and how long have you been coaching others?
Yeah, my first business, honestly, was way back in 1988. I started a cake decorating business. My kids were little, and it was a way for me to make some extra money. The business that I'm in now, I started my online coaching business. I started in 2012. But between 1988 and 2012, I've actually been an owner in 7 different businesses. Besides this business right now, I run another business with my husband that's in the construction industry. And we also have a real estate business where we purchase and flip properties as well, both in Michigan and Arizona. So definitely busy, definitely love the entrepreneur lifestyle.
Got it. What is it that you find are some of the greatest challenges to people who are just beginning to walk the path? I mean, if you imagine you back in 1988 starting your cake decorating business, what have you learned since then that you're now imparting to new business owners or entrepreneurs?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest. It's a completely different world now than it was then. I mean, if you were going to advertise, it was your local newspaper. That's all you had as an option. And social media has changed the game on that completely. So when I'm speaking to a new client now, or even just, a consultation that I'm doing, the conversation, like I said, inevitably comes up around sales and marketing and building an email list. And those things are always lacking because of confidence, their confidence in marketing themselves, the confidence that they can fill that space that they want to fill, that they can take, just really, again, step into that role. It's a mind thing, really. And it's once they get past that, it's the breakthrough is incredible.
Yeah, I think entrepreneurs are naturally pretty confident people, generally. I mean, if you were to guess, you have to be sort of, at least...
Men entrepreneurs are.
Ah, okay. That might be a differentiator.
We're still coming into our own in that space. It's different for women, very different.
That makes a lot of sense. So what are some other differences you notice between men and women as entrepreneurs?
Women want to have everything figured out before they make a move. They, before they're going to put a free offer out there, they want to make sure it's perfect and the colors are perfect, and they'll spend 3 months on that free offer. Men, they'll fly by the seat of their pants. They'll whip something together, on a computer and throw it out there and see what happens. And so I feel like there's probably a great lesson for men from women and for women from men in that space, that somewhere in the middle is probably the best place, right? Like, don't procrastinate forever. Don't, worry about every little detail, but still move forward as quickly as you can with a quality product. And it's interesting when you have a conversation with a man entrepreneur versus a woman, the differences in the mindset.
Do you coach many male entrepreneurs?
Honestly, I've only had a handful. And really, those have been through my Step Into More Profits program. Not really, well, I guess there was one in the private coaching space. But truthfully, I just attract women, mostly, in my age bracket. And it just must be a comfort thing. I give them comfort, and I make them feel like I'm going to have the answers that they need, that they've been desiring for quite some time, to move their business to the next level.
Can you give us an example of someone you helped from sort of beginning to end, or you don't have to use names or get too specific, but just some sort of case study of how you helped this person or this grow their business and where they were versus where they are now after getting coached?
Yeah. So another one of the common hurdles that I deal with honestly every single client I've taken on since 2012 is the identity of their ideal client. Typically, their marketing hasn't, it isn't that they haven't been trying, but their copy or the way they are presenting themselves isn't specific enough. So for me, as an example, I have a client right now that I've worked with for about 8 months now, and she just renewed for another 6 months. And as soon as we tweaked her ideal client, she's in the health and wellness space. And as soon as she tweaked her ideal client to speak to one specific market, everything changed. She started her advertising efforts on Facebook, right? I'm a big Facebook fan. She started her advertising efforts. Instantly, she started growing her email list. In about 4 months, she went from 400 people on her list to over 2,000. She grew her Facebook page from less than 100 to she's at 6,500 now. And it's just growing by leaps and bounds. And yes, she's definitely putting money into her business for advertising, but the other side of it is just getting that messaging right. So that is one example. Once you get that right, then everything else follows. Your website, your advertising, your free content, the blog posts that you're writing, really just everything, the programs that you create, the sales pages that you write, everything makes a difference.
I was going to see your assistant seems to be helping you out there. Do your cats help you much with these efforts?
If I'm on the phone, he likes to sit on my lap, so I'm trying to get rid of him.
Perfect timing. So that makes a lot of sense. I think that just any marketer, once you have a clearer idea of who this product or service that you're selling is for, you can really help find them out there in the social media landscape and identify them, and then craft specific content that would be interesting to them.
For sure. Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what you need to do.
So tell me, what is it that, what are some of the tools that you've created to help people go through this or get started from, refining their message? What kind of things do you offer to people that might want this?
So you mean as they start working with me as a coach?
Yeah, what sort of programs do you have, and what are the areas that you focus on in particular? You said you do
So
private coaching, which
yes.
is good, and
So
then you also have these
private
courses,
coaching.
right?
Yes. I have a couple of other courses. One is my Step Into More Profits course. It's really my baby, my signature course. It's a big course. It's 4 cornerstones of really how to build an online business. So, the 4 cornerstones are how to identify your ideal client, how to attract them once you know who they are, how to make sales to them, and then how to retain them, the retention part of selling to a client. If they've already bought from you once, they're so much easier, it's so much easier to sell to them again. So you really want to continue to nurture that relationship past the first buying point. So really that's what that program's about. And then I also have another program, a little less intense, right? It's called Harness the Power of Facebook Marketing. And really that dives into Facebook's free marketing tools. And what most entrepreneurs don't even know that are struggling with Facebook, because let's face it, there are a lot of them. There's all these free tools built right into our Facebook pages that most people don't even know are there. And so they're not utilizing the benefit of those tools to build their business, grow their email list, send traffic to their website. So that program teaches you step by step, meaning I go into Facebook and show you how to do it. And then how to make it work for your business. So we talk about marketing each step of the way as well. So it's a pretty cool program, because a lot of programs just give you like, here's what you need to do, but nobody shows you the how. And this program's different because it does show you the how.
Can you give us an example? I think you generously offered to give us a little sample of some of those Facebook tips, because I think a lot of people watching and out there are very interested in how they can better use Facebook for their own marketing or outreach or sales efforts.
Definitely.
So
It's one
take
of
it
my
away.
favorite things to talk about. Yeah. So there's going to be a couple tips here. And really this is how to design a Facebook cover photo to get more leads. But let me just click on my screen here. I want to talk just little bit of background here, so everyone is clear that Facebook is a tool to grow the know, like, and trust factor, not make sales. So there are so many entrepreneurs trying desperately to make sales on Facebook. And let's face it, people don't come to Facebook to buy things. They come to Facebook for education, inspiration, entertainment. So if we can somehow turn our marketing into those things, and then in the world of that space of inspiration, education, turn them on to what we offer or get them over to our website, that's really where Facebook shines. And that's really what I try to teach my clients. It's not a place for sales. It's a place for educating, entertaining, inspiring, and then helping them learn about what you have to offer. So one of the first and foremost things that people need to think about when they name their page, so many entrepreneurs that I work with, they want to give it a company name, right? A business name. And that's cool. I know so many people spend so much time coming up with a really great name for their business. But in truth, when someone recommends you, especially when you're in the coaching space or your home-based business or your small entrepreneur, when someone is recommending you or looking for you, they're going to look by your name. They're never going to remember your business name unless for some reason they have your card, right? So if you include your name as part of your Facebook URL, just like I did here, the facebook.com/KarenPattockBiz, when someone's searching for you, searching inside of Facebook, at least you'll pop up. If that was / a business name, they might not be able to find me. The next reason is it makes you searchable, again, just not only in Facebook, but also in Google, because our Facebook pages are indexed by Google. really important. If my website is KarenPattock.com, if someone types in my name, the first thing that'll come up will be my website. The second thing that will come up will be my Facebook page. And then think about when someone's recommending you. Someone's had a great experience. They bought your program. They've, purchased your services, your product, and all of a sudden they're recommending you. Well, they're going to do that by your name, not necessarily by your company name. So I really want people to think about that. And you can easily change your name if you've done it the other way. Okay.
You can go back and change if you've already created a page.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. Can. Yep. So let's talk about the Facebook cover image, because there are 5 very specific things that are important to include on your Facebook cover image. The first one, the first element is the header or title that says what you do. So in this particular image, it says promote and profit online. So people, when they come to my Facebook page, if they're looking to promote things and profit online, then they know, or at least have a good idea, that they're in the right space. So having that on your cover image is really important. I know a lot of people just want to put, the most beautiful picture from their last vacation, but that is not marketing. It's beautiful, but it's not marketing. The second element to the header title that says who you serve, right? So being online, for my case, right? It says online. Okay, anyone that would be in the online space. Someone that has a brick and mortar that doesn't care about online marketing probably isn't going to hang around here. Now, I could add something else that says women entrepreneurs here, and I switch it up. But if you're really clear on who you serve, who you help, that's a really good thing, because again, we have such a short attention span as a species. And so we really have to grab that attention of the people that we want to attract and at least get them to hang around for more than a few seconds. So number 1, what do you do? Number 2, who do you serve? The third element, where they can find out more about you. So your website URL. And you can see that clearly stands out right in the middle of my page. So anyone that is going to want to know more about me, it's easy. So that's the other thing. We don't want to make it hard for our ideal clients to come track us down, to learn more about us. We want to make it as easy as possible. So that website URL right in the middle of the page or clearly visible is super important. Element number 4, we have you can see the sign up box there on the bottom right. That's a really cool feature that Facebook offers us. So we can send someone anywhere we want with that button. And drawing attention to that button just with an arrow on your cover image really helps grab someone's attention. Again, we're helping them along. We're helping them see what their next step is. We have to lead them on this journey. So getting that box set up, an arrow that draws attention to that call to action button. And there's different things that, you could have buy now, download here. There's a lot of options. I happen to have sign up. I have that going to a free offer to get them on my email list. But just that arrow draws attention to that box. And then the 5th element is your smiling face. Even more than just your thumbnail image, it's my belief that your face, your image should be on your cover image. And because in the business that we're in, it's people doing business with people. And there's a lot of people that are super self-conscious about having their picture on their cover image. But listen, they want to know they're connecting with someone, right? And it's important, especially if you're a coach or small business owner. Again, even if you are part of an MLM, that you are the face of your brand. You're the face of your business. So you've got to get comfortable stepping out into that space and really shining as the face of your brand. So that's really important as well.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So just that was really a nutshell of some of the things that I include in the harness of power, the power of Facebook marketing. And we talked about just different places that people could reach me, my website, my Facebook business page, and of course, Twitter.
Yeah, if you are interested, how long does the whole course take to complete?
Oh, so the course is 3 hours of content. So literally, I take you module by module, so you could stop and pause it in between. but literally I take you, like I said, like when we set up that call to action button on your Facebook page, we're going to do it together. I'm going to use my page as the example, and I'm going to say, click here, do this, type here. It's very, very, it's a great resource. So every step is laid out for you. It's the click here, do this, always about the how, big how person.
Now, I imagine that's where ScreenFlow comes in, right? You use ScreenFlow to help teach people these skills. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Let's talk about ScreenFlow. So I'll give you an example that I just used ScreenFlow yesterday for the very first time for this particular reason. And so I was asked by a colleague of mine to do a guest blog post. And so I wanted to teach a Facebook strategy around Facebook advertising. And I wanted to teach a strategy that most people don't know exists. And so I asked her if it's okay if instead of writing a blog post, could I just record something with ScreenFlow, upload it to Vimeo, send the link to her, and she could send it out to her list. It turned out great. We love it. It's a great training, 38 minutes. Again, the how-to, the click here, do this. And so it's going to be great for her list. So that's just one way, all right? That's my newest way. So I was really excited to tell you about that. I use it all the time for my virtual assistants when I want to show them things. And we actually incorporate a lot of those recordings into our SOPs so that if we're bringing somebody new on board, they can easily see what we've taught before. So everyone's using the same methodology and the same system inside my business. I made a list here because I didn't want to forget anything. I use it constantly inside my private coaching part of my business. I'm constantly showing my clients how to do things. And so there's no quicker way than just go to ScreenFlow, do it, or I'll even give them feedback on a sales page, and instead of typing everything out, they love the fact that I record these videos and they can hear my voice and I can give them encouragement. I mean, it is a hit. They love it. Upload it again to Vimeo. They have the link forever. And it's just a super support system that has totally changed the face of my coaching, like really big difference.
That's awesome.
Another thing that I do quite often is I have a private Facebook group where I will create little videos or short how-tos, and I'll upload those videos into Facebook. Sometimes on my business page, sometimes in my group. I've been using ScreenFlow a long time. And then, of course, my digital programs. I don't even know how you could do a digital program without ScreenFlow, to tell you the truth. It's just so simple. Like, once you just decide you're going to learn it, it just is so easy to use. And it was literally a 10-minute, learning curve. And then if there's anything I ever forget, like let's say the blur feature that I don't use a lot, you can always quickly either on your website or go to YouTube. It's just simple, right? It's just, okay, I forgot where it was. All right. And it's just, again, the editing, super simple. I love that you can, add the little radar. So when you click on something, it makes the sound and it draws the person's attention to it. So the animation features are great. It's easy to edit. Yeah, I can't say enough about ScreenFlow. I was really excited when you guys invited me to talk about it because it is definitely, without a doubt, my favorite tool in my business.
That's
absolutely
great. That's great. Yeah, so we'd talk with you about some things we can do to make it even better for your business. So feel free to maybe offline we can chat a little bit about that. Are there things that you would recommend? You mentioned that when you're going through that Facebook strategy on how to optimize for your cover photo, that really seemed very targeted at people who are offering services. How would you change recommendations for people who are offering product? I love that you're using ScreenFlow in all those different ways. It's so cool to see just that any business owner can use it in a variety of ways, and it can help on a bunch of different ones. And you mentioned SOPs. Can you describe that acronym real quickly?
Yeah, so standard operating procedures, that's what we use in our business. So my VAs, we actually create a situation where we want to make sure that, let's say someone's uploading a blog post to my WordPress website. Well, I want everyone to do it the same way. I want to make sure that, the headers and the sublines and everything it's always going to be, formatted exactly the same way. So we set up, I do a video training. I show them exactly what I want so that anyone could come in, my husband could come in, right, and do this without a bunch of previous knowledge. And that is one of the greatest things. And so we've just built a library of little videos that teach different things about how to follow up on really every single thing in my business that I have delegated to someone else. Mm-hmm. I'm able to do a video recording, share it, put it in the library, and then it's a great resource for anyone down the line.
That's cool. Yeah. I'd love to talk to you a little more about things that you would like to see in ScreenFlow that would help make it even better for you.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. But getting back to Facebook, the cover photo example you gave was really good. It just, my one question that occurred to me while you were going through that was, it seemed like those tips were very good for someone who's a personal business, almost service provider, somebody like a lawyer or a tax attorney or, an accountant, somebody who's really marketing themselves or their services, a business coach. But what about somebody who's offering products that really wants to talk about the product or of either a physical or a software product that they want to use or sell or get in people's hands? How would you tweak those recommendations?
Yeah. So are you saying like ScreenFlow?
I'm just thinking that anybody who has a product, whether they're cupcakes or whether they're or whether ScreenFlow.
Right.
What would you suggest?
So there are people with products that really, they're still really the face of their brand, right? Mm-hmm. So let's just say, something like in my industry, Wishlist Member, that's a membership site product. The gentleman that created that product, his name and face is very much associated with that product. So in that case, I would say definitely still, he needs to be part of that equation for sure. Mm-hmm. Something like ScreenFlow that really is strictly a product, right? There's no real
face
human
associated.
Brand,
yeah.
Right. Then I would say for sure that changes the situation a little bit. But what you could do for a cover image that might be kind of fun is create, an image that has the team on it. Can you get one single image that has, all of you guys huddled together, that you have all that other information that I talked about, but like, here's the ScreenFlow team, right? And so that would be kind of fun. And I would like that from the standpoint of being one of your customers. Mm-hmm. I think that would be really cool. Mm-hmm. So it adds the human element to the marketing part of it. But I mean, I'm sure there are cases, Coca-Cola isn't going to put,
the Coca-Cola team, right.
But typically the people that I'm working with, and ScreenFlow in itself is probably a little different, but most of the people that I'm working with are small business owners. They're small brands. They're, home-based businesses. They're MLM, people, or like me, coaches or consultants, doctors, dentists, things like that. So they're very much a part of their business. And I feel like you'd have to be pretty high up the food chain before it would be completely inappropriate to add that human element. Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense to me. I think that traditionally when thinking about branding or marketing in general, it's very much this idea of the Coca-Cola model or the Pepsi model, when you have this sort of impersonal brand and people try to approach it like that, trying to replicate it. But I think you're really trying to pull out this difference of scale and maybe a little bit of a difference of the type of business and the type of brand you're trying to build. When you're at the 1, 2 to 50 person level, you might want a much more personal or personalized brand. Or branding.
Times they are a changin', and where everything used to be super professional, right, high end, really the world of social media has changed that. Everybody is just, like the person next door, because we can connect with them online, whether they are next door or, 10,000 miles away. And it really is moving into a more casual landscape where you being able to connect with me without an assistant and a written letter that goes through the mail is easy. We can connect on Twitter, we can connect on Facebook. You can send me a contact form through my website. Things have become much more casual. And truthfully, the people that are resisting this, that want to hide behind a brand, that's what they're doing. They're hiding behind a brand instead of embracing the space that they hold in their business. And that's really, we're right back to where we started, right? The confidence and stepping into that role as an entrepreneur and, the face of the brand that you represent. And you need to be excited about that and happy. And know that we don't all start in a confident space. It takes time and it takes energy, but after a while, you start to feel like you really are that face of that brand, and it feels good.
That's cool. And it's also the trust factor as well, right? If you're hiding behind a brand, it's harder for people to feel like you're being genuine or that they really know what's going on with your brand or your business.
Right. So that's why I said it's so important for them to see your face as much as possible, because it is people doing business with people. And that sounds cliche or simplistic, but it really is. I mean, that's why we're here right now doing this live stream, right? I mean, so people feel like ScreenFlow is more approachable, and that they will get the customer service on the back end if they decide to invest in your product. I mean, it's just the human element that changes the game. It makes your business really more attractive on so many levels.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. One of the reasons we wanted to do this at all was to let people know that, first of all, we are here and we do care about them and we care about our customers, and we want to provide interesting content for them to take. We don't just want to be hounding, ScreenFlow all the time. It's just that we want to see how ScreenFlow fits in the world out there and what it's doing once, and what people like you are doing with it. So if you are going to sum up it, or if you're going to help me tell people why it's useful to you, could you explain that a little bit and tell you, and what is it that you found in ScreenFlow that you weren't able to find in other tools?
Yeah. So I was really lucky, honestly. I was introduced to ScreenFlow pretty early on in my business. And, I didn't have this all figured out in the beginning, or even all the ways that it would benefit my business. But if I had to put everything in a nutshell, I'd say two things come to my mind. Number one, it's such a time saver. If I had to type every single thing that I do with ScreenFlow, it would take me forever. And so from a time saving standpoint, my value on an hourly rate, that's a big deal to me. Secondly, it's from the standpoint of being able to document, whether it be a process for my coaching clients, for my virtual assistants, for myself, right? Being able to document that and have that to go back to. I mean, here's another example. If I see a really great sales page that somebody has, there's quite often a sales page will be live for, let's say, 2 weeks, and then somebody takes it off the market. But I want to be able to reference that. Before I had ScreenFlow, there were so many times where I just did screenshot. Now I can go to that sales page, click on ScreenFlow, scroll down, right? And then I literally have a 2-minute recording of everything that I want to see that I can save forever. That says so much more to me than a screenshot. And so that, to me, is invaluable. I mean, I could seriously talk about this all day because I'm probably your biggest fan. I love ScreenFlow.
That's
honestly.
great.
Can you tell?
Yeah, that's great. I think we're going to be asking you for some ringing endorsements here as we talk about people. Because one of the things that I found with ScreenFlow is it's difficult to get people to really understand what it is from the outside. Once you're using it and once you see how useful it is, you just don't realize how you ever lived without it. But getting people from the other side of that fence and that don't know about it and don't know they need it or would never put it down once they started using it, that's the trick. And so and I think that's true for all marketers. But let's talk a little bit about how you might dial in on, and we can use ScreenFlow as an example. It doesn't have to be ScreenFlow. Let's talk about how you might dial in to find that ideal customer on Facebook or using online marketing to identify your customer and then communicate that value that they don't yet know how much they want?
Okay. So so just so I can clarify, you're asking me how to go about finding your ideal client. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm asking maybe a two-parter, but one,
Yeah.
how would you find your ideal client and
Yeah.
then use Facebook to reach them with a compelling message?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my question. And like I said,
Okay.
we don't have to use ScreenFlow as the example here, but if we were going to go find other people that never knew about ScreenFlow and we were going to use
Yeah.
Facebook to do it, what would you suggest?
So step one I'm going to use ScreenFlow because
Okay.
let's face it, that's why we're here. Let's talk about it.
All right.
So first of all, I would say that someone like me, I'd be sitting down with people like me that are diehard ScreenFlow fans and finding out exactly what you're finding out. How am I using it? Why do I love it? How's it improved my business? What has it done for my bottom line, right? Of course, if I'm saving, time to be able to use ScreenFlow, then it's well worth my investment. The ROI is there. So first and foremost, I'd write that down and start looking for common factors. Of course, most of the people that are using this process or this product, they're actually probably going to be business owners, just like I am. So you're definitely going to need to advertise. Of course, on Facebook, we've moved into this space a long time ago, even though there are a lot of people resisting. You need to spend money on Facebook to be seen. It just is the case. It's always been the case. You need to advertise and pay for it. And it still is the case. We got lucky for a while.
What should small business owners or people with, just starting out, what are they expecting to have to say to just start to get the ball rolling on Facebook? Is it expensive to advertise on Facebook? What is kind of the...
If they dial in and they're talking to their ideal client, let's just say all things being equal, they've got that down.
Mm-hmm.
$5 a day will make a difference. I have a client right now. We just did a new Facebook ad for her over the weekend. It's going gangbusters. She's getting between 10 and 12 new opt-ins on her free offer every single day for $5 a day. I mean, that's huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So take $5 divided by, let's even say 10. That's 50 cents a lead. 50 cents a lead. That is so cheap. I mean, you just can't beat it. So when you get your message dialed in, that's the big key, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you do your homework on where they are spending time and you target the right pages on Facebook, you can get that kind of lead cost.
Do you have opinions on whether you should be serving them a video, whether you should be serving them a banner, or whether you should be serving them a GIF or
Yeah, you need to test. So video right now is going really well on Facebook, just from the standpoint that Facebook is really pushing it, meaning they're giving preferential treatment to video. But I will say for this particular client, video did not work well. Now I have another client, video, and she's targeting people in the UK, not even the US, the UK, and that's a home run for her. So you've got to test. So sometimes just an ad, a text ad, sometimes a video. What you're giving for a free offer, the more simple you can make it, the better. If they can consume it in 5 minutes or less, I think you've hit a home run. And then you just got to test it.
And so when it's served up to the target customer, it's usually appearing in their feed, in their timeline, and they're just kind of scrolling through, and if it catches their eye or they're reading it, and it can look like a normal post with a picture, it can look like a video with subtitles that just starts playing. Okay.
Yep. And the cool thing that again, most people don't realize, but once you get the hang of it and understand it, you're better off. Most people, over 60% of the people on Facebook are actually consuming it through their mobile phone. So through this thing right here, right? So if you separate your ads so that you can do the exact same ad, but you do one for desktop, one for mobile, right? And then you allow them to independently run separate from one another, you can easily see which one's doing better. I'll bet 99% of the time, the mobile ad is doing better because more people are consuming Facebook content from their mobile phones.
Interesting.
Mobile devices, really.
Yeah. Okay. And so once they're scrolling through, you catch their eye with and I'm sure that in your course you talk more about this, but you catch their eye with some sort of lead or leading question or some sort of, just, hey, is this you? Because
Right.
we think it is, but just make sure,
Yeah.
and then if you're having this issue, click here to find more or find out more. Basically, it's
So,
just to get
so
an email is really the goal.
yeah. So, right. So the goal is definitely to get an email so you can nurture that relationship more on your own turf, right? Because then you own that email. It's part of your email list versus you don't own Facebook.
Right.
So Facebook can do whatever Facebook wants to do. We have to play inside their guidelines. So the key thing with a Facebook ad is just the title itself. If you can do the same exact thing that we talked about with the cover image, what do you do? Who do you serve? If you can call them out, hey, small business owners, hey, teachers, hey, are you interested in the paleo diet? Let's use that as an example. So you're calling those people out in a very specific way, so that they immediately self-identify. They know, hey, that's me. What's going on here? If we keep it more generic, like, I don't know, hey, you want weight loss instead of something with paleo diet, now that's way more generic, right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to grab the attention as much as if someone's looking for a paleo expert, they're thinking about the paleo diet, that's going to grab their attention. That's your ideal client. Mm-hmm. That's how specific you need to be.
When you were looking for ScreenFlow and somebody introduced it to you, like, hey, this is what you're going to want, what would have caught your attention?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough question. That is a really tough question.
It's a question I ask myself every day.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, my initial interest, I can tell you that my initial interest in ScreenFlow was about creating digital products. Mm-hmm. So digital courses. Mm-hmm. And that course was my Step Into More Profits program. There's been many iterations of that program to where it is right now. Mm-hmm. But that really was where I started and why I got it initially. And really for a long time, that was all I used it for. And then I just started having these, aha moments. Well, why don't I use it for that? Why don't I use it for that? And anymore, if I can record anything versus type it, mm-hmm. I'm all about it. Mm-hmm. All about it. It's such a time saver.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's one of the things is because it has so many different applications, there's all these different ways to approach it and to grab people's attention on it. It might be useful for you here. But it usually comes down to screen recording or capturing or, specific use cases. Are you looking, to help teach somebody else something on the computer? Yes. But that's hard to say in a pithy ad type way. So that's the challenge that maybe we'll talk more with you about offline about. But
let's talk offline.
Yeah,
for sure.
We're going to hire you as a consultant here. So one thing that I think this is really great content, and I'm seeing that there's in the comments, Kathleen has said that she's really agreeing with a lot of the stuff that you're saying and everything you're sharing. So thanks for just sharing this with us, because I'm learning a lot as well, and I love to get folks like you to help change the perspective or the conversation that we're having around digital tools. And I like what you mentioned when you said that the world is really changing, that marketing is becoming more casual, that we're almost like we're all next door neighbors in a sense. Yeah. Because I think that's really true. And there's this old style of clinging to this formal marketing, this impersonal, distant style marketing, and that just isn't working for people anymore. So that is, I think, where if you shift your perspective, then things like, the digital landscape and the social media landscape can really open up to you if you're not afraid to put yourself out there and make a personal connection with your customers.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more.
Well, this has been really great, Karen. I want to maybe give you a chance. Where can people find more about you? Where do they go? You mentioned some websites earlier. There's www.karenpattock.com.
Yep.
All right.
Facebook.com, Karen Pattock / biz, B-I-Z. And then my Twitter handle, same thing, my name. Yeah.
Are you running any specials on your courses?
Oh, yeah, actually, I brought that up. Yeah, so my Harness the Power of Facebook Marketing, right now, I'm offering a $50 discount. So that program, again, just teaches you, I take you step by step, show you how, right? How to use all the free tools on Facebook that are built right into our Facebook pages and the ads dashboard that are free, actually free, that most people don't even set up, that will drive more leads to your website, will get you more leads on your email list if you just set these things up correctly. So you can see more about that program at KarenPattock.com / harness Facebook.
Cool. Well, Karen, it's been a real pleasure. I look forward to talking with you more. I think you've had some great ideas that we could even implement here on our ScreenFlow marketing efforts. And I'd love to talk with you more about how we can help you make it a better product for your business. And everyone who tuned in, thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time. So, Karen, thanks so much. And we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.